everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Read Between the Lyrics. My name is Amanda.
My name is Marvin.
And today we're actually doing a different type of episode. Yeah. We're going to be, instead of covering a song, breaking down lyrics to a song and covering, we're going to actually talk about how this podcast actually got started. I don't think we ever really gave detail, right?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, so we're going to share with you how this podcast actually got started, how it was birthed, and maybe it'll inspire someone out there to start something that they've really wanted to do.
All right. So what do we got on the order of things here? How did we start Read Between the Lyrics?
Okay, so we would always talk about like lyrics to songs. Like there would be one profound line and we'd be like, oh, what do you think that means? Like, let's break this line down.
Yeah, I mean, so I would say we had long car rides a lot.
Yes, we did.
We were always in the car. We were driving.
Like at least 25 minutes and longer.
More,
I mean,
yeah.
Like everywhere we went was because, okay, if you live on Long Island in New York or you know the island, then you know, we lived in Mastic Shirley. That's near Riverhead where Splish Splash is, if you guys know or need landmarks. So it was a far drive from literally everything. Like
from everything.
Everything. So we were constantly on the road. We would have long car rides. So music obviously was a natural thing to put on. And this one specific, so we were always talking about like song lyrics and lines, but this one specific song by John Bellion, I don't remember the song.
You don't remember the song?
Do you?
I think I can remember the song what was it about the John Bellion? Shout out to John Bellion because I met him in the mall on his birthday.
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Yeah, I think you called me. Like, I just met John Bellion. I was like, what? Did you ask for his autograph or a picture? He's like, no, I'm not fangirling over a
Yeah. I didn't want to be all like, you know.
Yeah, you were just super casual about it.
He was crazy cool, man.
Yeah, you were saying like he was humble, down to earth, and just like a normal person.
Yeah, which was very refreshing. So I don't know. I could try to find that song, but keep talking.
Okay, so we were discussing this John Bellion song, and it's a pretty deep song. His lyrics, awesome. Music is awesome. Writing is awesome. And so we were talking about it, and Marvin was like, you know, this would actually be a really cool podcast. And at that time, like this was years ago, podcasts weren't like crazy popular, but they were kind of like up and coming. Like they were becoming popular. It
was popular, but it wasn't like mainstream popular.
Yeah, it wasn't mainstream. It was like if you know, you know, like that type of thing. Like if you're into podcasts, then you're into podcasts.
Yeah.
So you were like, this would be such a cool podcast idea. Did you find the song?
The song is Stupid Deep.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to cover that song.
Yeah. Maybe because it was called Stupid Deep, that we were looking.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that made us dig a little harder. Like,
yeah.
All right, what's Stupid Deep about this?
Yeah, I feel like the music itself, too, was like, I felt like I was in a movie, kind of, like listening to the words and the music itself.
All of his stuff.
Very animated almost.
Yeah, all of his stuff, you count me if I'm wrong, but he wrote them like Pixar movie themes and stuff like that. And if you see his images and the videos he puts out, he's an artist.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not in it for the bread.
Right.
He's really just making art.
Right.
Like art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you were like, this would be a super cool podcast idea that we would talk about the song, break down the lyrics, and then cover the song.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that would be cool. So
how long ago was that, though?
This was literally years ago. Okay. So we said, oh my God, this is a great podcast idea. And then every time we talked about a song, we would be like, we got to do this podcast. So we were always talking about it, never actually did it. One time we were at a friend's house, Najee and Jen. We talk about Najee and Jen all the time. Najee has a podcast, by the way, called No Job Podcast. Check him out if you haven't. Marvin produces the podcast.
Yeah.
So we were over their house. We were telling them about this podcast idea. And so we were like, let's talk about it so you guys can see what we're talking about, right? So we start breaking down the lyrics to a
Stephanie Gretzinger. Come out of hiding.
Come out of hiding. We start breaking down the lyrics, the four of us. And Najee's like, oh my God, I can see it. I can see how this podcast is going to go. And this is such a cool idea. So still didn't record. Mm-hmm. We just were like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
So finally,
Christmas time came around.
Christmas time came around. We decorated my room or whatever.
Mandy got me for Christmas my interface and two microphones.
Right. Yes, I did. It was your Christmas gift.
And the arms or whatever to start recording.
We decorated my bedroom. This was I don't even remember.
It might be 4 years ago now.
Okay, so we decorated the bedroom like Christmas theme or whatever. And we were like, let's shoot. Let's see if we can shoot. So finally, we sit down and record. And we were like, because this discussion on this specific song went so good, we love this song, Stephanie Gretzinger. Let's just do it. So I was pregnant.
Right.
We just found out we were pregnant with Adelina.
Right. A lot of morning sickness.
Yes. I started getting morning sickness. It was terrible. But we finally recorded, right? We break down the lyrics. We cover the song. Marv does the editing. We look at it. We hate it. We're like, I hated it.
No, you definitely hated it. I didn't like it because... So the way me and Mandy work is totally different. Me, I'll look at something and I could come up with different stuff all the time and it'll be completely different. So we're discussing the song and I'm breaking it down and I'm trying to pull out new stuff, trying to go in different directions. And Mandy's just like, what are you doing? Here is the road. We did this road. So it was just awkward because I was trying to go somewhere else and she was trying to go down the path we went down already.
Yeah, I was trying to just redo what we already did.
Yeah.
Because we had already discussed the song. So I was just trying to do that again because it came out so well. Right. So it was awkward. It wasn't authentic. And we learned that it has to be authentic. Therefore, we were like, okay, we're not going to discuss any song we break down. We're not going to discuss it prior to recording. So every time you guys see or hear a new episode, Marvin and I are literally talking about it for the very first time because it gives that authenticity.
Yeah.
So the episode itself, breaking down the lyrics, it wasn't good. And then the song cover, listening back now, I think you played it the other day. Mm-hmm. And listening back, I was like, yeah, I was definitely trying to do way too much on this song. And I really saw how much I've grown, I guess, as a singer. Whereas at that time, I was still trying to do things that were out of not my reach, maybe my comfort zone, whatever. I was trying to be a singer that I really wasn't. And whereas I feel like this podcast has helped me embrace my voice, my tone, my style. And I realized I didn't really have to do all of that. So I'm thankful we never put that out because it just wasn't the best that we could do.
Yeah. So talk about growing. Yeah. I mean, as far as engineering, computer software, they're called DAWs, editing, sounds, mixing, any of that kind of stuff. I was completely lost. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but we started and It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad by any means. But it wasn't like all throughout this time of us doing it, I look back at my old sessions and I was like, what were you doing, Marv? Like, what is this? What is this?
That's so funny.
You've grown as a singer. I definitely grown as a musician because a lot of times we like practice the song like and then just cover it. So like we don't like practice like on another day. We're not proud of it. You know, that we
could prepare better even now than
absolutely,
we do.
Absolutely. We're not proud of it, but I am proud of the fact that I can hear a song and then play it for the most part. Right. Unless you bust out some crazy jazz, you want to do some James Fortune or something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to just play it on spot.
Okay, so we got a little ahead, but so we recorded that episode. We were like, nope, this ain't it. We got to do it again. But again, I was pregnant and I was going through morning sickness and it was just like, I was not in the mood. Marvin knew I wasn't in the mood, so he didn't push it. There was also just a lot going on during that time. And so I gave birth, we moved here, and the following year, 2020, which was last year, so I ended up breaking my kneecap. Oh my God. That seems forever ago. So last year, around this time, November, December, I broke my kneecap. I needed surgery. It was a horrible time. But during my recovery, I was home. And Marvin was like, okay, I have this setup here. Like I have this little studio I've kind of built. Like, why don't we just try to do the podcast again? Like we shot the first episode. We took notes on what we didn't like, let's start it now. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like I'm not doing anything. I'm like hobbling around. Let's just do it. So we came up with a plan and we just started it. We did a little skit. Season 1, episode 1 was a little skit. And it kind of alluded to this, like to how the podcast was birthed. We just...
Yeah. So, starting it was just the big thing. Starting it and then having that accountability. So, like, we were promoting the podcast that we haven't shot yet.
Yeah, because I was like, we need to promote it. We can't just come out with it. Like we need to do branding or whatever. And so we started promoting it and we hadn't shot it yet. We hadn't shot the first episode. We just kind of had this skit.
So for us putting it out there, that was like, we were definitely going to do it.
Yeah, it's like a deadline.
Yeah, we made a deadline.
To the public.
To the public, to everybody. Everybody's like, oh yeah, dropping something. So now we had to do it. So that is definitely one key thing to take out. Like give yourself, if you want to start anything, give yourself a deadline and make it public. Say it out loud.
Right.
Say it out loud. Go ahead. What we got next?
No, yeah. So that's how it got started. Like Mar said, we were like, all right, January 4th, it's coming out. Mar's birthday.
Holla.
And we had to put it out. And then we had to keep doing it every week.
Yeah. The first song we did was Adelina by Johnny Swim. Obviously, well, not obviously. Adelina is our daughter's name. That's where we got it from. We got it from that song. And how old was Bean when we did that last year?
She was a year. No.
She was a year?
Yeah, she was born in 2019. So 2020 is when we started promoting. 2021 is when we the beginning of this year is when we started this podcast. It seems like forever ago.
Really?
Yes. Last year, 2020, I broke my kneecap. And we said, let's just do it. And
so lost.
I know. So literally, we just started this podcast at the beginning of this year.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. I believe you.
Yes. Let's go through the timeline. Our daughter was born in 2019.
2019.
2020 was the pandemic.
pandemic.
We had our first birthday party and it was like, oh my God, even though it's been like months into the pandemic, like, can we still do this? We had to limit the amount of people we had. And then I broke my knee. So she was already 1 year old. And then 2021, which is this year, January of 2021, we put out season 1. And now here we are.
Crazy. So as far as what we did was start a podcast. But as far as like the steps that we took that are like general to make the podcast work, to actually start it and start doing stuff, I can say again, give yourself a deadline.
Yes. Make a timeline. Give yourself a deadline.
Make yourself accountable to someone.
Yeah. Someone, people, whomever. Start working on whatever it is that you want to do. And
as much as you can visualize, write it down. You know, it don't hurt to have as much stuff. Like, write it down. Don't just think about it and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that, because you're gonna forget it. Yeah,
we have a whiteboard. Marvin is all about whiteboard sessions, and we write down like things that we want to do. Even our episodes, like, they're posted up there. And visual, like having something visual, really helps get to the goal.
I would also say learn how to do your own research on the interwebs, right? So like me, I find information, Mandy, you too, and you can look up forums.
Forums are awesome.
The comments of those forums. You don't have to ask a question in those forums, because most likely somebody asked you a question already. And people hate when you ask a question that people already asked already. They love to get on there and just be like, this question was asked already. Look here. You know what I mean? I'm just like, bro, you could just told me that. Bro. You're gonna be
I'm all about Facebook groups.
Yeah, like, which is basically like
it's
forums.
A forum, and that's what I do. I will just look at people's posts and the comments, and you learn so much.
Yeah, so if you're able to use context clues and look for what the answer that you want creatively, you can find out a lot of stuff. I found out about all of this stuff here.
Yeah.
I found out about all of this stuff. I never wanted to dive into recording because I knew it was a rabbit hole. I knew it was so much stuff that goes into it. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to be, the photo dude. I'll just play the instruments, when people come around. And here we are. A lot of stuff later.
And when you start, it's not going to be perfect. Just let that idea go. Get it as good as you can. And then you just you have to come to a point where you're just like, all right, whatever. Like, that's literally what I would do. If you know me, Marvin knows, when it comes to singing, I would be like such a perfectionist that I'd be like, this is complete trash. I cannot put it out. Like, we can't know. And he was like, it's fine. Like, it's good enough for right now just to start. And good enough wasn't good enough for me. I was like, no. Right. It has to be like perfect. And so I had to let that idea go, because again, we had a deadline. We were being held accountable.
Right.
And I literally had no choice. I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I'm not a professional, people aren't even going to really expect that of me, And as time went by, I was okay with the imperfections. I was okay with it not being perfect, and seeing the response that we got anyway. It was like, oh, I mean, people actually don't really care as much as I do. And that helped me become better, because I just kept doing it and doing it. We kept, we just kept doing it. So let go of the idea of perfect. You're going to get better the more you do it, and you have to just start it in order to do it.
Right. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, it's like a circle. It's a big circle. Like, you have to do it to get better, and then you got to get better in order to keep doing it. Like, in order to get where you want to get, you got to suck first, And I mean, I like to say that we came out at a pretty high level. You know what I mean? Because I've seen other people's and
backpack. Marvin is notorious for the backpack. Yeah. Like, did you create it?
I mean, I haven't seen anybody else do any self backpacks. You know,
sometimes you got a backpack.
Yeah, sometimes. Yo, you know what? I'm about to go off right now.
Do you have time?
Let me check. Let me see.
All right, come on.
All right, I'm about to talk my junk right now.
All right, let's go. You got like 1 minute.
I got 1 minute. Then give me 1 minute. All I need is 1 minute. All right, so what I've realized this year is that I've been downplaying myself for the longest. And I feel like people do this a lot. Like, I thought like that's what being humble was. You know, like, oh, nah, man, you know, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I'm not that good. And even though I don't think that I'm that good, comparatively, or even just in general, I'm not that bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm good enough in most cases. So I've been fortunate enough to travel. I travel with Pastor Regan. Shout out to you, my guy. And we've been
who's
all
also
over.
A musician, singer, songwriter. Got some songs out. Check him out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, Regan D'Onofrio on Spotify. We got some joints. I'm playing on a couple of them joints. Actually, yeah, good amount of those joints.
He has a Christmas album coming out?
He does.
Oh, is that a surprise? Maybe cut that.
We're gonna shoot the promo for it. He's definitely doing it.
Okay.
He's definitely doing it. You better do it. So I've been around and I've gotten comfortable with going in like not on a level where I feel like I mastered something. And as far as music goes, as far as anything goes, once you're to a certain level, like it's just about creating a feel. It's just about being you, expressing yourself on these things. And man, I'm fine. I'll go play with anybody. I'll play with the best of people. I'll be shook.
Yes.
But it's music.
Yeah.
It's about feeling good. You know what I mean? So like I have so much more confidence in myself and what I'm doing that like this year I'm not on some I'm good enough. I'm like, yo, I'm dope because there's plenty of people out there who ain't dope who saying they dope.
There are people that think Marvin is cocky. He's really not. He's always been humble in that he would make sure that what he's doing is good enough for him, for you, whatever service he's providing. And he really would walk around like, man, I don't know if I could do this, or I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, but he would go out and just put on a game face that he can do this. He is good. He is good enough. And he does kill the game. So I think having that confidence or exuding that confidence, even if you don't feel it, makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Another sidebar about confidence. And if you play basketball, right, you play street ball, there's people that we used to call burgers. Like
I haven't heard that term in so long.
Yeah. There was terrible basketball players, but they would be the most confident dudes out there. And that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like they'll be hitting shots that they have no business hitting. It's like, what? I'm like, I know you. You're terrible. But they out there with mad confidence, man. It makes a difference.
It makes a difference. Yep.
All right. So
thanks for listening on how we got started. If you're thinking about starting something, just do it like Nike. Can I say that? Nike's not canceled, right?
I don't know.
Anyway. Catch us next week on another episode of Read Between the Lyrics.